Hi, hello, and it is not the Sabbath today. And nor is it cool out. But still wanted to give her a Sabbath report, even if I'm several days late. It's 100 and something out right now, 104, maybe warmer. Chestnut. She's my new garbage disposal queen. She'll sit there and eat all that if given a chance. In fact, one of the interesting things about it is, I think, by feeding her these scraps of potatoes and other starchy foods, and there's a potential that she'll be benefiting from not just the nutrient content of the potatoes and sweet potatoes and tomatoes, is that hopefully the amount of calories in it will be enough to help her fill out, because she's not really been gaining weight like I'd hoped, despite all the worming and stuff and special feeding and extra care I've given her. So I'm just hoping that by adding a bunch of potatoes to her diet, especially since I've got potatoes going bad. What are you doing? Go on. Move that. You just want it to be yours. Quit. Fluffy, come on. Quit. I'm going to go in there and dust you here in a minute. I got to dust you anyhow. One thing about this is, since I haven't fed them yet today, and I've been trying to feed them in the morning, but with this temperature out here, so pretty much I was exhausted, because you might notice, or not, that there's one baby short in this pen right now. And that's because, unfortunately, Fluffy's child died. Coccidiosis may got her, or it may have been the medicine Corid might have done her in. I don't know. I did try to give her B vitamins in an inoculatable manner, in other words, injectable, but it may or may not have worked. Maybe even given her too much. I don't know. I need to contact Dr. Nixon and get a hold of them and find out about getting a different kind of medicine that's not supposed to hurt them, and it's supposed to kill the coccidiosis. So, yeah, I will, and I'll get that done here in a bit, because I forgot all about it. Now, what I'm looking right here is, that's some manure I dug out of there. I've got tons more to go. That will be, when I get up the gumption, will be dragged over to my other plants and put over them, hopefully pretty quick. More mushrooms coming up, but due to the fact that they're not really big chunky juicy mushrooms, and I want these mushrooms to kind of propagate a little better, I'm just kind of letting them go for now. So, because there's one in here, there's a couple right here, there's a couple here, and a couple here, and there might even be more hidden underneath some of this stuff, I don't know. But anyhow, so basically, and these lids are just off those barrels. So basically, though, is the mushrooms, they're edible. They taste pretty good. Oh, and there's some more mushrooms over here too. So I do plan on picking them again in the future. I picked a whole bunch the other day, and they turned out to be a poison type, so I had to just throw them away. I was sad about that. No more work has been done this week yet on these stairs, so they are not finished. But also, I've got to get more materials, and I don't want to be working in this 100+ degree heat. I'm too feeble for that. Now, getting on over here. Oh, that tomato is finally starting to ripen. It's taking it forever. Alright, if you remember, if you've been watching my stuff, if you remember, that tomato plant got really wilty here a while back from flooding. Well, and it's flooded a couple times since then too, but you notice the hose there, I've been siphoning it down, and it's gone ahead and perked back up because it doesn't have standing water around the roots. So it's recovering, it's flowering, hopefully it's setting more fruit. That's its first 2 fruit since it's been existing, and hopefully it won't be the last. The broccoli is still struggling to not give up. The cucumbers are growing almost like weeds, but they're really not putting on a visual amount of fruit yet. Now there were those 2 little fruitlets in here, and they haven't grown at all. It's like they showed up, they bloomed, they faded, haven't fallen off, but they haven't grown either, so I don't know what the deal is with that. I've been running a hose in here a little bit to try to keep some more moisture in here, since I've learned that cucumbers really like a lot of water. They can be in standing water practically. This other tomato plant, I haven't seen it flower per se yet. Down to my last bale over here, which, considering when I bought this stuff, I've been getting just unbelievably wonderful mileage out of it. These Russian Lespedizas should be blooming pretty soon. I see what looks like flower heads starting to pop up. My potatoes over here have been to some extent failing dismally. In fact, out of all of them that came up, only one did, and it ain't doing very good. I put some more ones out here, and they haven't come up, and they may not. I don't know. I even tried sealing them where they were cut eyes, just so that I could, oh, my brain it's failing me here. So I could see, I put lime on the bottom of them to harden off the edges to hopefully make them where they won't rot. Whether it works or not, I'll only find out when they do or don't grow. I'm not going to dig around for them, so I could probably damage them if they're still trying. Over here, bell peppers are still stalwartly pushing along, and hopefully they'll go back to making peppers soon. This is where I'll be putting that manure. This thing's a little wilty looking today, just a little, but it's growing like a weed. The potatoes are still growing, or I'd have dug them out by now if they'd gone completely dead, but they're still growing, so I'm letting them grow as long as they will. Hopefully they'll make more tubers. So I need to put these all in. I've picked a lot of the fruit. I've even eaten some of it recently. One tomato I've been slicing into my hamburger sandwiches. This thing, originally I couldn't make it flower for a long time, and I just kept dumping and dumping phosphorus to it, and finally decided, okay, we'll flower. Speaking of flowers, if I could have got this yesterday, it was entirely in open bloom. And it had a total of 7. I was thinking it was 10, but it had a total of 7. And yesterday, and on the Sabbath, I tried making a video of it, but my camera ran out of data. And with all the things going on, I just didn't get back to it. I figured I'd come back when I cleaned out the data on my camera, which I have. So it's the only, right now, that I know of on the property surprise lily up. Guess it thought it'd be more of a surprising lily than everybody else, would be a bust to the punch or something, I don't know. Unless the others have died off or something, which would not be fun. Oh yeah, I was going to say, the last round of blackberries here, starting to change color. It's 2 clusters, that's it. As far as whether it'll come back again, I don't know, but I'm going to take these berry seeds, and I'm going to figure out how. I'm going to try to get them to germinate and make new plants. That's my hopes. especially since that is a thornless berry. Over here, the thing's really flowering over here. Of course, since it's late in the afternoon, you're not going to see any of the day flowers that come up early in the morning over here. They're here, they're just not visible this afternoon when it's hot. Likewise though, in the morning, all of that nightshade flowers, as of course does the Rose of Sharon. The mimosa completely finished blooming. It wasn't very spectacular this year anyhow. The black raspberries have been eaten by both deer and goats because the goats are getting out. If you look over there, you see the strap through the fence, and over here the rebar through the fence. The little munchkins were crawling through the fence there where there's two separate pieces, and if you look right there, they're pushing their way through it. They're spreading it, stretching it. So they're doing their best to get out because, well, there's more. Sadly, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence in this particular instance. And I hate that that's the case, but that's the case, and so, well, I can't really blame them for wanting to go where there's more food. It's the best those fields have ever been that they're in, but it ain't really super great compared to all this stuff here that they could be eating. So I want to fence off some of these areas that are just thick and overgrown with brush and briars and garbage that around that excavation site where the future greenhouse is going. That stuff will shrivel up and die probably before I can get the fence in, and there won't be anything over there for them to eat. If I don't hurry up and get it done soon. I've got designs on that. Over here, unfortunately, the heat or something has done in at least part of one of my squash. They just wilted right down. Not apparently 100% fatality, but a significant hit. And so it's suffering a lot from the heat. I don't know if it'll cool off and they'll recover. Hopefully. We shall see. Over here, this pink tomato is finally taken off. And then that other golden cherry tomato that made one earlier is recovering from being bitten off by deer or goats or whatever. And then the watermelons are struggling with too much shade and potentially even too much water. But we'll put this over here for a moment because these things are probably needing more water at the moment than they're currently getting. Because tomatoes, although they don't like to drown, they do like a lot of moisture to grow fast. My one larger melon starting to put on some size, and then I got several other ones that are putting on, but they're not very big yet. Hopefully I'll have a few. Again, these are all old seed. Very old seed. 4 or 5 year old seed, so it's amazing that any of them germinated. The apples, they're a lost cause. Hate to say it. They're pretty much shot. So, there's no crop there. And the wasp stings where they put in their little young are rotting away. The Japanese beetles are eating the leaves. Japanese beetle traps aren't catching anything hardly. They're catching a rare few, but not many. There's another verbena out at this time of year. There's that one there. It's shrivelly this afternoon, but it's clearly open. There's one over here the other day, and I don't know if it's still up today. There it is. This one's doing just like tough as nails. Even in this severe heat, it's still flowering. Some of them really go to it. If you had a lot of them that just went to it all the time, you could have a continuous carpet of verbena flowers. And no more surprise lilies over there yet. Of course, the peony already came and went for the year. And that's pretty much all the flowers over there. The yellow coneflowers are pretty near done for the year. There's some late arrivals. But for the most part, they're pretty thoroughly through. Although the sunflowers look really weather beaten and wilted right now, and they look very dull, in the morning they'll be really brilliant again. They are just going like gangbusters, even in this heat. So unfortunately, I had to stay up really late last night. There's still smoke coming out of here, and I'm not surprised. The reason there's still smoke coming out of here, and it's all burned around here, is because I had to get rid of another dead body, unfortunately. And when I did, well, this is where it goes. I'm going to lift the lid, but I don't even know if it's visible from there, the smoke. But there's still fire in it. And still getting rid of the bones and the last bits of the carcass of poor little Fuzzy. I really got to change my approach to treating this coccidiosis problem, because the stuff I've been giving them is killing more of them than it's saving. Of course, I had the big truck out, this one here, last night because I was hauling scrap wood from the old stair construction over here, and this is some of it left. That's what hasn't gone in there to burn the goat yet. I'll probably stack it over there in a pile just next to the barrel later on. I just moved it over here so it wouldn't be close to the fire of the risk of a fire. Over here, I needed a cart, and all the cartons I knew of were in some other way predisposed or in a place I couldn't get to them. So I just took the motor off of that mower. It wasn't running anyhow, so I thought, well, just for the moment, we'll take the motor off of it. This one, I stood it back on its side. I put a lid. It doesn't really fit it. It doesn't thread on it, but it keeps moisture out of the gas tank. I don't know what's wrong with this one, but it's missing some parts, and hopefully I can fix it at some point, because there's no reason to throw it away if I can avoid throwing it away. The other one, though, I took it apart. Once I took it off, I didn't take it 100% apart. I took it sort of apart. I got the puller on it, and finally finagled the flywheel off and looked at some other stuff. This is the first Briggs & Stratton overhead valve motor that I have ever owned. So I'm pretty new to them. Right now the flywheel's just kind of sitting on there. I've stole the screws out of there because I lost the screws to the ignition coil on my other mower. But the problem I run into with this, it felt crunchy, and I thought surely there's something wrong with it. Well, it turns out what it was, these things come with a brake. And I don't know that I can get that in there at this lighting and make it evident. There's a little teeny tiny stripe I can put my finger next to. If you look right at the tip of my finger, where's my tip of my finger? If I can look at it right, there we go. It's not focusing, is it? Right at the tip of my finger, there's a little shiny stripe. There was a flange that came up and came in contact with that flywheel, and it's some kind of safety measure, theoretically. And it made it hard to start the thing, hard to even turn it. So I just cut that off. I don't see any sense in having it. But the problem I did run into was that the key was halfway shorn. Anybody that knows these small motors knows when you share a key, they'll quite often just quit running. So if they go very far too far out of time, then they'll just quit running, and that's what happened to it. Over here, the stuff here, I stripped down this exercise machine for parts that I'm going to use to make a fence post driver / drill derrick out of. That'll be just exactly for setting fences, and it'll be mounted on a 3-point hitch, so I can put it on the back of my tractor and drive around and I'll put the rock drill on it it'll have a piece that turns 180 degrees, and in one direction it'll be up so it can hammer down on the top of posts. The other way it'll be down so it can drive a drill bit into the rock. So I'll go in there with a drill bit, drill a hole in the rock, then I'll flip the thing around and put a post beneath it and hammer that into the ground, and then go on from there with wire and stuff at a later point. This is that totally obliterated mower blade. They definitely hit something pretty hard with it at some point. Several times, in fact. Looking at all the nicks and chunks in it, they abused it. So it's no surprise that it bent the shear the crank pin on the flywheel key. This one may have nothing wrong with it other than missing a few parts. I don't know. I'll find out eventually. In the meantime, I needed the welder over here so I can work on some other stuff, because I need a right angle block. And where I thought my brother had a right angle block and I thought it was here, I can't find it. So in that pot over here, tray, I have, hopefully I don't get myself an acid burn doing this, I have this piece of steel that I've etched real well, and I'll be going in and rephosphating it. And it's going to be, I've got to do some welding and cutting and stuff on it, and then I'm going to put it in a Bridgeport and mill it square. And that'll be my new right angle block, and I will use that right angle block along with that rotary indexer, mount the indexer vertical, and a small mill, and I will cut the double D pockets in the pulley. This pulley right here specifically needs a double D pocket where it's circular there. It's just on that piece because I made a faceplate to turn it with. The pulley is just the little pulley caught in between the washers. The rest of it's a faceplate that used to be a big old pneumatic or hydraulic piston from something, and I got it from an auction a long time ago, and I just set it up to make it a faceplate. Now I'm going to take that pulley and put on the loader's pulley where this pulley is on this alternator, and then I'll mount the alternator on the track loader, and my track loader will be running again finally, hopefully. It's still got other problems. I've got leaks in the hydraulics, and I've got clutch issues in the steering mechanism and the transmission. It's far from fixed. Never probably ever will be. Over here, this was the pulley that originally came out of the DR mower. And I painted it and it looks all pretty, except as you see it's all pitted and gnarly. Well, turns out that one's been ruined. Because when I tried etching it in the phosphoric acid, it damaged this part to the point where it no longer fits right like it should. So I just had to replace it. I'm just going to go ahead and get another pulley completely and rebuild the whole system with some steel locking collars that I'll be rooting back out of my stash that I bought somewhere a while ago. These pieces together, this and a big washer, are going to make a ball swivel piece that'll float around on the ground as it spins, that the whole where did they go? They're over here. Oh, there it is. This piece. Let me walk this over there. See if I can explain. See, it's got bolts sticking through it like that. So that piece will bolt back onto the hub. This piece, when it's modified and built correctly, will fit right here. And what that will do is this piece here will wear out over time. I can make another one, weld another piece to it over time. I'll cut a hole in it so I can put this down in there and a washer. And it'll be shorter than that, obviously, since it's taller than the part I'm trying to bolt to. But I'll put that through there, push the same bolt here through everything, and that'll hold that on, and it'll be down inside, so it won't wear the bolt out, but it'll slowly grind this up if it runs into rocks and stuff, which it's bound to, but it won't tear the plastic up. This hub is done, clean, and ready for mounting, and I've got the bearings, but the problem is I actually have to set up some other work on it before I'm ready to press it in place. But once I'm ready to press that in place, I'll be sitting up there. I'll be using the washing the acid off my hands. It starts to annoy me after a while when it starts stinging. The hydraulic cylinder, where did I put it? Right there. There's the hydraulic cylinder. That sits up on top of that stand there, and this gives me enough force to press against, and I'll be able to, this is, it says in here, it says bearings and shaft for DR mower, and so that's in there, and I'll press them all together, but I have to do it in a very careful way because I got to press one side into that hub, and then I have to flip it around and press the bearing around the hub and the other shaft at the same time. So it's a little tricky. If I do it wrong, I can break this or I can destroy the new bearings. Once that's all together and it's got the little safety brake on it, which I will leave the safety brake on this because it's exposed and it really doesn't give me any problem starting the motor. Anyhow, so then I got to put all this back together and get it all. I want to figure out a better fuel tank, and I want to get a battery and return it back to electric start. A lot of work to do on it yet, but you know, things like that are going on. So that's pretty much the highlights of the past week, and the low points too, since I lost another baby. 7 babies have actually directly died from coccidiosis here, and 2 others have died as a byproduct of that same coccidiosis, since one of the ones that got sick was a mother of 2 that died, because they died when the mother went dry immediately, didn't produce milk. By the time anybody noticed it, they'd starved to death. I'm going to sit on this with my back, and my butt hurt. Well, more than my back than my butt, but anyhow. So, I got a lot of crap lined up. I need to go downstairs and spray some more on the Perilla mint. This spray backpack's been sitting there for months on end since I last used it. I still have some more poison ivy I need to go out and spray. That's pretty much the only thing. I'm going to not try very hard to fight the Johnson grass with that. I might spray some of it where it's really thick, but for the most part, I try to pull the Johnson grass up by hand. I do that with the other ones, but A, there's too many Perilla mint, and B, I don't really want to handle poison ivy, and C, poison ivy is a lot harder to pull out of the ground than a grass or a mint. But, so, I still haven't got the stove off the back of the truck since I bought it. But I think for now, it's faring well enough there. It'll probably be on there for a long time yet to come, several more weeks anyway. Because I've got to get ready to carry it down safely down the stairs. I don't necessarily need the stairs to be finished, but I need to be ready mentally and fully prepared to take that down the stairs, and I even got to figure out which angle and direction to put it, because it's probably too wide to go down the stairs right now. It's getting stuck or scraping on the sides, and so likely as not I'll end up turning it sideways, which is a little bit narrower but not a lot, and seeing if I can get down like that with it. And then I gotta literally ratchet strap it to the two-wheel dolly so it doesn't fall off, because it will. And even then, the two-wheel dolly is not well balanced. I've got a bigger two-wheel dolly, but it isn't really suitable for this kind of work. Even though it's not so big, I don't think that it'd be a problem getting down the stairs per se. The problem with it is that the way it's shaped. It's been over here for a long time. I've even pointed at it before. I offered to send it to a fellow mining enthusiast, and they didn't seem to be interested in it. It's really strong material and everything, and all you see right now is the upright, and then maybe you see a wheel because it's kind of grown into everything. But yeah, it's sitting under that piece of steel. Anyhow, because of where the wheels are, I guess I pulled one of the wheels off of it to borrow for my brother's cart. I've got the rim to it and stuff. I just got in new tires and put new inner tubes on it. And again, it's plenty strong enough to do the job. It's just not shaped right because the way the wheels stick out where they do. The wheels need to be behind it. I mean, it gives it a lower center of gravity in one way, but except the problem is unless something's narrow enough to fit between these two tires, it still ends up being a high center of gravity simply because of the fact that it's got to not touch the wheels. It's either too far forward, too far up, both, or you'd have to put the wheels out further, and then it'd probably be too wide for the stairs anyway. So I could have a little rework done to it. It's just poorly tack welded together. It's welded together, don't get me wrong. But, when I say poorly, I won't say it's really super bad. I don't know who welded it, to be honest with you. But it's all made out of C-channel, or what you call unit strut. And it's plenty strong enough for the job. It's just not shaped right. So I'll have to work on it probably. I might even go so far as to make some kind of adapter so I can change the axle position depending on the kind of load I'm hauling with it or something. That way I've got multiple adjustable settings to make the best possible center of gravity and everything. So, well, that's everything and then some. So, I go back first Tuesday of next month, pull the steel wire stitches out of Fluffy in there. She's mean and ornery as always. That's why I swatted her with that bowl, because she was harassing poor Chestnut. But other than that, hopefully she'll eventually get back out in the field where she belongs. So, well, it's not the Sabbath, but I hope y'all have a blessed rest of your week anyhow, and I'll try to make my next report on the Sabbath, maybe, if I get away with it. We'll see you till then. Shabbat Shalom, and Shalom the whole week. Bye for now.